Welcome to Đồng Nai Radio and Television Station. Here comes to the news today. Continuing the program of the fifth section, on June 9th, the National Assembly listened to the Minister of National Resources and Environment, Đặng Quốc Khánh, presenting a report on explaining, absorbing, and revising the draft land law amended, result of collecting people's opinions on the law projects. According to the report, there were over 12 million comments on the draft land law amended, focusing on issues such as compensation, support and resettlement, land allocation, land pleas, and the changing of the land use purpose. Although compared with the previous draft law, Article 79 on the land acquisition in this draft had made a big change. However, presenting the versification report, Chairman of the Economic Committee of the National Assembly, Vũ Hồng Hạnh, said that the revisions of the point E and G, Clause 3, Article 79 refers to the cases of auction to create land fund and auction contractor. Thus, it unclear, conflicting approach compared to other cases. The chairman of the Economic Committee emphasized that it is necessary to review it because this regulation is still very general, not clear enough for cases of implementation of commercial housing projects, that the state recovers plan difficult to identify whether it belongs to the scope of socio-economic development and whether it is for the benefit of the country or the community. The Ministry of Construction have just sent an official dispatch to the People's Committees of Provinces and Cities on the review of urban planning and construction planning. Accordingly, the Ministry of Construction proposed the People's Committee of the Provinces and Cities to direct and strengthen the review and adjustment of the general urban planning, general planning on construction of functional areas, construction planning of inter-district and district regions, general planning of commune construction to be consistent with the national planning, general planning and provincial planning. Reviewing levels of urban planning, construction planning has been formulated and approved in the locality. At the same time, urgently organize the elaboration, approval and submission of general planning, zoning planning, detailed planning in accordance with the law, as a basic for proposing and formulating construction investment projects. On June 9th, Chairman of Provincial People's Committee Cao Tiếng Dũng received a courtesy greeting from Mr. Miyushima Gozo, a resident of Japan Business Association in Ho Chi Minh City. Chairman of Đồng Nai Provincial People's Committee Cao Tiếng Dũng briefly introduced it to the delegation about the socio-economic situation of the province. The number of nearly 1,600 FDI projects with a total investment of $33.7 billion USD from 45 countries and territories has shown the potential and strength of the province. For Japan, there are more than 270 projects with investment capital of $5.59 billion USD. The chairman of the Japan Business Association in Ho Chi Minh City highly appreciated the potential development of Đồng Nai and said that the association will remove the bridge in promoting the image of Đồng Nai province to attract more Japanese investors to come. In the immediate future, the association will closely coordinate with the Union of Friendship Organizations and provincial departments to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam-Japan Friendship. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is likely to travel to China next week for long-delayed talks aimed at improving relations. A U.S. official said Blinken is expected to be in Beijing on June 18th. Reuters news agency on June 7th reported that Blinken would visit China in the upcoming weeks, citing an unnamed official. 2 days later, an unnamed U.S. official said Blinken would be in Beijing on June 18th, but there was no other details. In February this year, Mr. Blinken canceled a planned trip to Beijing after the U.S. detected a hot air balloon suspected of being spied by China over its territory. The Chinese embassy in Washington said it had no information about Blinken's visit, but said China was open to dialogue with the United States. The United Nations World Food Programme (WFP) said on June 9 that it would suspend food aid to Ethiopia because it found that the aid shipments has been diverted and sold on the market. The announcement comes a day after the U.S. Agency for International Development did the same thing. WFP in a statement said, "While we will be temporarily suspending food aid to Ethiopia, nutritional support for children, pregnant and lactating women, school meal programs and support activities for farmers and herdsmen will be able to continue without interruption." The U.S. Agency for International Development and the Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a statement emphasized the two governments are conducting investigation so that the perpetrators of such diversion are held to account. This is the end of our news today. Thanks for watching. Have a good time. Goodbye.